Okay, hello everyone. Welcome. I'm going to be going over CAD today, so I'm going to go over the main basic programs that I think will be most useful because I'm not going to go through everything that Neil, the list is way too big. So I'm going to go over mainly Fusion, Inkscape, and GIMP. So we've got the image processing program, we've got the vector, and then we've got the 3D, and then maybe some other extras that those programs work with. Okay, so how is my screen? Is it? Do you see this? Like the whole share? You see? Put it down. Okay, perfect. So. Okay, I'm gonna go over here with Fusion. Let's start with the full basics. Just gonna close this. When you open up Fusion. So here we have an open workspace. So up in the top corner we have the Show Data panel. It's very important that we know where all of our stuff is. So here I have a lot of different projects open. So if I go into Hidden Forces folder, here I have projects that I can double click and open. What I'm going to do here is give you an option to, can someone mute? I hear a double echo. Okay, so I'm going to create a new folder here that I'm going to call FabAcademy 220. Iceland 220. And in this folder I will add your emails. So every time you save into this folder, it will automatically appear into your Fusion when I add your emails. So if you save some project into this folder, I will be able to help you with those projects remotely if you give me call me and ask me about the projects. So we will add the emails later. So let's just start with Fusion itself. It's very comfortable. It's very nice here. When we put our mouse over something, it shows us what it does, and it does help to just stop and okay, this does this. But we always the first thing we do, we always draw in 2D, and that's always the first button here, create sketch. So here I'm going to create sketch, and it asks me which plane do you want to draw it in, which axis plane do you want. For this I'm not going to care, but we can see the set is like lying to the side, and then the X and Y. But I'm just going to choose any of it. So here now I'm drawing on this plane, and we can start drawing. The workspace up here changes because we're inside of the sketch area. So in this I have to finish this if I want to go back to the other workspace. But I'm here inside the sketch area, and now I can start drawing. I'm gonna select a circle, center diameter circle. I'm gonna click once, move it, and then write what I want. It's very important, at least I always think it's best that instead of clicking and clicking, now I don't know how big my circle is. So I always try to click it, move the mouse, don't click again, and then we write what we want. So here I have a nice circle, and you can go through all these basic ones and play around with it. I'm not going to go all over it all, but I'm going to go over a really nice feature and an important one. It's if I do another circle here at the top, let's say a 20 millimeter circle, I can use this circular pattern. Circular pattern is a really nice tool where you can select, and you can always see a dialog box pops up. So what am I doing? I'm selecting the circle, not the point in the middle. I don't need that. I need the circle, and then around what do I want it to rotate? Around the center of this one. And here I can choose as many as I want, 10. This is very nice because let's say I want to change all of the sizes at the same time. So all I have to do is change this one, and it will automatically pop up. I can also delete my dimensions here, and then just move this around to play around with it. But I do recommend keeping always the dimensions, because we want to know how big our actual piece is. Okay, so I can do the same, for instance, with another circle here. Do a 30 millimeter circle. A little too big, 10. And one thing is important. I really want it to be exactly 20 away from the middle. So by doing that, I can go into Create, Sketch Dimensions, or D, and then do this circle to this one, and move the mouse. It gives us a lot of options, but I can move it until it's here and say 20. And then I can do the same with the height, so 20 again. Now I would like to make 3 other circles in the same exact location. So I could do the same, make a new one, make a new one, make a new one, and do all the same. But I could also use, instead of circular pattern, a rectangular pattern, and choose the circle. Then direction, I don't have to choose it, I can just drag it, and then I can drag it both directions, and then I can say how many. I just want two both directions, and then I'll just have to put the distance of how far I want it to go. And here it's exactly 20 away, so I want it to go 40 in both. And please stop me and ask me if you have any specific questions, or I'm going pretty fast because you can always look at the video later. Any case, so here I used circular pattern, I used rectangular pattern, and I used dimensions. So all these 3 here are really, really good for creating geometrical design. So if I go here, now I've finished with my 2D sketching. So now I want to make a 3D object out of this. I can finish my sketch. I'm done. So finish. Now I can go into creating a solid. So right next to create sketch is extrude, the most used tool in this program. So I can say I want a 2 millimeter thick piece. So that's fine, but still looks 2D because we're looking straight on it. So here we can go up in the right corner. This is our view cube. You can click it, hold it, and drag it if you want to look around it. If you get into trouble, you rotate a lot and then it's gone. Now it's, I don't know, 200 meters away. We can always go up here and see this house button. That's just home, and we'll get the most comfortable view for our object. So just remember that if you have an uncomfortable, like here, you can always click the mouse and then you'll get a really nice side view, 45-degree view. One of the strongest things that Fusion has to offer is the timeline. So what happens is that we have a timeline here down here. It records everything I've done. So let's say instead of let's say that I want to change both my bigger circle, outer circle, and the inner ones, the dimensions. We don't have to go back and then extrude again. We can just double click on this sketch here in the timeline, go back into the sketch and say this one is supposed to be 5, and this one is supposed to be 20. And then I'll do finish sketch. As soon as I finish the sketch, the program will automatically update all my design. So this will be a lot of time saver if you use the sketch dimensions and sketch dimensions and all these options for circular pattern, rectangle pattern, or other things. You'll be able to change one thing and the whole project updates. So I'll go here, finish sketch. Okay, I'm very happy with this one. So up here we'll see we're in the solid workspace. we have the surface metal sheet tools. Let's not think about those for a while. Let's just focus on making things. And the sections are split up here in these create, modify, assembly, and so on. In create, we can create many objects like extrude, revolve, sweep, and so on. And you'll see, I recommend just playing around with these because it tells you exactly what you just need a spline here and a circle at the end, and then you can make a sweep. Loft, you need two profiles. You need your loft between, and I'll do a quick demonstrations of revolve and loft, for instance. Let's just make a new document up here. So I'm gonna use this revolve option. It's a very fun one. Maybe you'll use it for some design. So I always start creating a sketch. Here I want to be sure to have a midline, so a line to rotate around, and then I can design whatever I want. This is nice, but I want to make a circle here, so I'll do a circle here, and you can see this overlaps, but that is fine, because when we use the revolve, we can choose all these profiles. So I'm gonna do finish, and here I can do revolve, and go back to home, and just select profile. Profile are these spaces. Axis, I want to rotate around this axis. And now I have a very complex design made really quickly. I'm gonna go here up in the layer panel, and we can see here in the layers we have bodies and sketches. If I open up these layers, I can see body. That's fine, that's my 3D body I made, and then the sketch. The sketch itself automatically hides. So if I want to be able to do more out of the sketch I made, I can move, hide my body, show my sketch, and here it is. So for instance, if I want to loft this using the loft to another object, I will have to create another profile not in the same space. As in, right now I'm looking at the side of this profile. This is just 2D sketch. I need another sketch somewhere away from it. That's where construct comes in. There's a lot of options, but the most used are these first ones, and offset plane gives me the option to offset this plane here, move it, let's say, -100, and create a new sketch on top of that offset. So create sketch. It looks like I'm drawing on this plane again, but I'm not. It's just in my way. So I'm gonna do a box, and that's fine. And then finish sketch. Go back to home, and now you can see these are two offset planes. And now I can loft this from this. I'm not going to choose the other ones, and this. This is a very useful tool if we have different dimensions that need to come together. As same as before, we still see that the timeline, we still have an option of the timeline. We can see all the objects that we've done, all the actions we've done. So this was my first sketch, then we revolved it, I hit the revolve, and then I offset it and made a new loft. I can actually take this plane, offset plane that I did, if I double click it and say, no, this is supposed to be much bigger, -200. And the model itself updates straight away. So this is very, very good to just play around. There are a lot of demonstration tutorials for these different actions. Also, we do have, as soon as we have finished creating something, we can start modifying it. So it's split here. As soon as we're modifying an object, we're doing more to the object itself. So for instance, a fillet. It's nice. We can fillet a side to make it you know, a little more smooth there. But I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do this shell here. Shell is a very, very useful tool because here I can just choose one side and say, I want to make this with 4mm thick walls. Enter. Now I have an open shape. So for instance, if I want to 3D print this, I'm not going to 3D print the whole piece. I can save up material and so on. Here we also have in modify, combine. If I have many objects, for instance, body 1 and body 2, I want these objects to merge. I can combine them and say this one should add to this one. Now these are connected together. The most important thing to think about when we're building up in Fusion are the work panels. Where are we drawing from and to what? It's good to create offsets because if I hide my bodies and show the origin, my origin points are stuck. So for instance, I can only draw on this plane, but I cannot draw there because there isn't anything to draw on. That's why we need to use the construct and offset. Yeah, and then we have many more options here, and I recommend just going slowly through this and trying it out. The best way is to create a box and then do all these, because these examples are made for boxes, most of them. So it's very good to just do that. So I'm gonna go over here to design. I might come back here later to show more options, but I'm gonna go into design because these are different workspaces. So render is to make objects nice. So for rendering, we want to create an image of the object that we made, for instance this one, and I want to be able to say this is let's say aluminum, even though that would be really hard to make. I want this to be aluminum. So I'll go into render, and you'll see because I showed my sketch, it's kind of in the way. So I just want to hide my sketches. So, and also origin point. It's just nice to keep everything clean. But you look at the eyes, what's hidden and what's not. So here I can put some texture on this. Up in like this color wheel appearance, we can go into it and we can find the material that we want this to be made out of. So metal, aluminum, let's say anodized glossy aluminum. I drag this here and then drop it in. Okay, this is nice, but it's not rendered. This is just a preview look of my object. If I want to render this, I will have to, first of all, it's very good to find a nice view. Then in Canvas Render is just to preview it. So we preview this. And there you can see now the program is generating all these different reflections, shadows, color, and everything for this. And if you go further into this, you can change the lighting options, and also you can put some background in if you want. But this is very good for showing the projects that we're going to make for Fab Academy. So here you can see in the corner, it's ellipsing. It's still not fully rendered. When it's to excellent, it's going to be a really good quality. So you can do a quick render in a sense. So if when this is finished uploading, I can just capture image. By capturing image, I can grab it, and I mean, for me, this is a really good thing to show on the website. If we have something more complex and more detail, we would do render. But if I do in Canvas image, it's a really quick way just to grab the image and put it in the computer, and then you can upload it to your site. So here you can save it to your computer. Normally it works in the cloud. So as in the cloud, so show data panel, everything you save automatically is updated, so you do not have to keep it on a USB or I forgot the project at home. That's not an excuse, because you can open it up in any computer that you need. Okay, so this is a little start with Fusion. Let's see, design. I will be assisting people with manufacture when that comes, but I'm not going to go into that right now because that's going to take a lot of time. But this is manufacture is the workspace that we use to put it in a CNC machine. There's also options to make it for laser cutting, water jet, and so on. I'm gonna go into this area again, and let's see. We have draft, we have scale. I'm thinking to open up for questions, if anyone has a specific question now. Anything? All right, that's fine. In any case, you can always contact me for specific problems. So I'm going to go quick. I'm going to switch programs now, Fusion, because this is just so much information that it's better